Today, I want to talk about how the SEC is finally embarking on charging the short sellers. They've just charged their first illegal short seller with synthetic shorting crimes, and it's likely they won't be stopping there. So stay tuned and let's make some money. And now I'll dive straight in with the key information. So, the SEC tweeted saying we charged investment advisor Sabby Management LLC and its managing partner Hal D. Mintz with fraud in connection with a long-running scheme involving misrepresentations and violation of rules for short selling and order making and other violative trading. It says the SEC alleged that Sabby and Mintz attempted to game the system and make an illegal profit when someone uses naked shorts or other manipulative practices to cheat the market and investors. The SEC will ensure that they are held accountable. Now I want to go through this full press release as it really goes deep into explaining exactly what crimes Sabby Management was performing, how they performed those crimes, how they hid those crimes or tried to hide those crimes from the SEC, and how the SEC caught them. So it says the SEC complaint alleges that from at least March 2017 through May 2019, Sabby and Mintz repeatedly circumvented trading rules to conduct unlawful trades in the stocks of at least 10 public companies. Now this is interesting because they're not just synthetically shorting one company, they're synthetically shorting at least 10, maybe including AMC, MMTLP, and a number of others. As alleged in the complaint, for example, Sabby and Mintz engaged in illegal naked short selling by intentionally and improperly placing short sales when they knew or were reckless in not knowing that they had not borrowed or located the shares, and then failed to make timely delivery of those same shares. Now this is interesting because the SEC hasn't just gone after these short sellers for knowingly synthetically shorting shares, but also when they've just been reckless in not knowing that they hadn't previously borrowed them. This basically means that short sellers can't use the excuse of not knowing or not being aware they didn't borrow shares before short selling. The SEC will still come after those short sellers. And additionally, as the complaint alleges, on occasion Sabby and Mintz used their naked short selling to artificially deflate the price of securities, allowing them to obtain more shares at a cheaper price. aka ladder attacking companies the exact same way that AMC has been ladder attacked over the last 2 years. The SEC's complaint further alleges that Sabby and Mintz tried to conceal their fraudulent trading, including by using securities acquired after the trades to make it appear to brokers executing those trades that they had complied with the requirements to have borrowed or located the shares prior to their trades. And Sabby and Mintz repeatedly lied about the trading when questioned by at least one broker regarding their investments. So again, the SEC can find out about this synthetic shorting even if they've been trying to hide those synthetic short sales. The SEC alleges that Sabby and Mintz attempted to game the system and make an illegal profit when someone uses naked shorts or other manipulative practices to cheat the market and investors. The SEC will ensure that they are held accountable. So again, that also suggests the SEC will be going after further short sellers that try to game the market. Now what's also really interesting is that John tweeted saying that these guys were actually big in MMAT. Maybe, just maybe, the worm is turning. He said there's a long way to go as many of these hedge funds all do it. He said they short against a warranty in every deal and drive companies into bankruptcy or more bad financing arrangements. He said a warranty is not a borrow or not a real locate. But interestingly, it is being allowed by these prime brokers and it needs to stop. So clearly Sabby and Mintz were evidently shorting MMAT and likely MMTLP as well. And if they were shorting both of these two companies, it's likely they were also shorting AMC alongside. And what makes this most interesting is that now in 2023, the SEC is admitting that synthetic shorting does indeed exist in the markets today. It's not just something old from the 90s that never happens anymore and couldn't possibly happen in today's market. It absolutely and clearly does still happen. Guys, you can currently get a guaranteed free share of Tesla or of Google and also a $100 cash reward just for signing up to MooMoo using the link in the description below and making the required deposits. If you just want that free $100 cash reward and 5 free stocks, all you need to do is deposit $100. You could always use that free cash reward and those free stocks to buy even more AMC or GameStop shares if you so wish to. And as a result, Peter Han tweeted saying there are days where I feel like tracking down every single person on LinkedIn during July 2021 who told me I was delusional about naked shorting. But he said ultimately, what would that accomplish? Because the people against naked shorting likely fall into any one of these 5 categories. He may approach someone that tried bashing him for talking about naked shorting, and the person may reply saying, yeah, I did. Sorry, mate. I was under a contract by these short sellers. It's not personal. I was just getting paid to bash you guys. The second person may say, what? I did. Oh yeah, I did say naked shorting couldn't happen. I had no idea what I was talking about, but just wanted to stir some rubbish and create some gossip as your post was getting too much attention and I was jealous. A lot of those people against synthetic short selling that think it doesn't exist are likely either paid off shorts or simply don't know enough about the market. Either that or they're likely some kind of bot or overseas account that was created solely to downvote posts of that nature. We know that in 2023, anyone that doesn't believe in naked shorting and tries to say otherwise is either paid off by the shorts or is just clueless about how the market works. Which leads me on to a really funny post from Kohrs. Now you may remember this video of an employee of Morgan Stanley speaking about how he used to synthetically short stocks every single day. Mark commented on that video saying this guy is full of crap, saying it doesn't work that way. He said he clearly looks to be full of more rubbish than a Christmas turkey. And he said that brokers will not allow you to short a stock without a borrow, period. So considering the SEC has just sued a firm for shorting stocks without borrowing shares, Kohrs is either clueless about how the stock market works or is more likely a paid off short seller. Kohrs is obviously in that group with Charles Gasparino, Doug Sifu, Amy the Trader, and many other people against synthetic short selling that believe the AMC squeeze will not happen. And speaking of Charles Gasparino, you may have seen that he's now just become best friends with Mike the Marine, the same guy that's against the AMC reverse split and thinks the reverse split will somehow kill the squeeze. I reckon I know why Mike thinks this, because he's likely a paid off short seller as well. If Mike the Marine is now best friends with Charles Gasparino and Kohrs, you can now see where his allegiances lie. But someone that does seem to be changing their tune is, interestingly, Spence. He tweeted saying, I think the ape conversion is going to generate massive volatility. He said being short AMC through the conversion, through the reverse split and QSIP change is dangerous with the cost to borrow being so high. He said no one is sure how the numbers will fall or lie post-conversion. They'll go up, if they'll go down, if it will squeeze, if it won't squeeze. Nobody knows, but it's very dangerous apparently. And he said not to mention if the stock price ends up over $30 into a pump, like how Ape did on issuance, the cash raise could be very large. He said he's seen these types of events generate 100% plus pumps easy, and in this case it's never been done before. So for whatever reason, Spence has now changed his tune and clearly 100% believes in the AMC reverse split and that it will cause the squeeze. This is interesting for somebody that used to associate with Kohrs and Charles Gasparino to magically change his tune all of a sudden. I wonder if it's because he's worried about the SEC also paying him a visit. And NeoSap posted saying, as a result of the SEC now charging short sellers, I hope they continue working their way up. Obviously, Sabby Management LLC and Howdy Mints are just 2 short sellers or 1 short seller and a small short selling firm. Hopefully the SEC continues working up the chain, charging larger and larger short sellers. What it does show is that the SEC is absolutely investigating synthetic short selling, and I guess is likely starting from 2017 and working their way more recently. I do expect more synthetic short sellers to be charged over the coming few weeks and coming few months, either by the SEC or potentially by the Department of Justice. Maybe the SEC is going to charge those smaller short sellers and leave the bigger dogs to the Department of Justice. And maybe that way we won't just see some small fines being issued, but actual criminal charges being raised. But this enforcement action finally gives me confidence that the SEC and the Department of Justice are indeed going after those short sellers. And I think it's only a matter of time until all of the short sellers reach the very end of their tether and get caught and imprisoned. And I'm sure as more and more short sellers start being caught, it will also scare other current short sellers away from their illegal short positions, encouraging them to close out of their shorts. It's either close out of your illegal short positions or potentially face jail time, so they'll end up choosing the right way. And obviously as more shorts end up closing their short positions in fear, it will ultimately cause the AMC and GameStop squeezes. But guys, be sure to let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always guys, be sure to ding that notification bell, because that way you'll be alerted when I upload a new video. Cheers.